This could be the intro.
Could this be the intro?
Probably.
Just a bunch of nonsense while I adjust my microphone to be how I want it.
Well, while you do that, what's going on, everybody? My name is Nick, and this is Brenden, and this is, what did we call the show again?
The Talking Bearded podcast. Unshaven and Unscripted. Or Unscripted and Unshaven.
Yeah.
One of those.
One of those.
Yeah.
I love it, man. It's awesome.
So, welcome to episode 1. We're just going to do a little bit of an intro and talk about some stuff. So, how you doing?
Man. I'm tired,
Tell me who you are, Nicholas.
Well, I am, like I said, I am Nick. I am a husband and a father to two wonderful boys. My wife, Nicole, is graciously allowing me to come here and do this podcast.
And be gone on an evening.
Gone. Hi, honey, if you're watching, which you probably won't, or maybe you will. I don't know. What else? I thoroughly enjoy music. I enjoy collecting records. I used to have a comic book collection that was substantial, but not anymore.
Like how substantial?
Not super, I guess. I never really finished a run of anything, but I started like when Hawkeye became popular again, and they released those comic books with Pizza Dog. I don't know if you're familiar with Pizza Dog.
Oh yeah. So when they first, was it like the first time they put in Kate Bishop? Or something?
Yeah, it was.
That was around when like Avengers came out and stuff. The movies started to gain steam.
I collected those, and I think they're just sitting in a box somewhere in my basement. So not really doing much with them. Yeah.
Yeah, I like to read comic books a lot. That's kind of one of my favorite mediums for sure.
Are you reading anything right now?
Well, I'm just kind of reading whatever is coming into the shop. I have not gotten into any Marvel. I used to be a huge Marvel guy.
Sure.
Still a huge Marvel guy.
Right.
Love the movies, was really big into the whole movie situation. But in this recent run of stuff, I just haven't found anything that I've really gravitated towards. And so I've been reading mostly the new DC stuff. They kind of restarted stuff.
Do you think that after Endgame, Marvel started trying too hard and then it kind of...
So we're just getting
into it. I'm sorry. We had this whole thing planned out, but he started talking about Marvel, so it got the wheel spinning. But I feel like specifically with Endgame, it kind of killed the Marvel universe. And then when they tried to do the
timey-wimey stuff.
Not even that, but like the TV shows, and they tried to connect it all together into this one web of I'll call it mess.
Yeah.
Like it's kind of gone not as exciting.
I think when Endgame happened, because I was like into that. I mean, I don't know if you remember, but I was like going to all the midnight showings.
Oh yeah.
Like basement decked out and Marvel. Like I was really into it.
Okay.
And then after Endgame happened, I was very much like, this is like a perfect collection.
Right.
We're just going to take this and we're going to put it over here on the shelf. Complete. Because one of the things, I really loved Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., which really got...
Oh, that ABC show.
Yep.
Yeah, I never watched it. Never did.
I think it ultimately... They just really gave it the shaft. They put all this energy behind it when it first started, and then I feel like Kevin Feige was just like, yeah, I don't want to deal with that. But anyways, that's a show that gets better every season. So if you can get through that first season. But anyways, I think they started doing too much too fast.
Okay.
And I think that can be said for most franchises, especially I don't know. They stopped. I think they were just trying to produce too much stuff. And so none of it was super interesting to me. And then you get some a great example of this. They put out the show Ahsoka, which is Star Wars. Sorry, jumping franchises, but
technically it's all related, right?
Yeah,
kind of.
They do the same thing with all of them. So there's 8 episodes of that show, I think 6 or 8.
Sure.
And the first episode's fine, and then like 3 episodes of just like literally nothing happens.
Right.
It's just like the slowest, nothing happens at all.
Right.
And there's not even barely a cliffhanger at the end.
Right.
And to me, I'm like, if you're making a 6 episode or an 8 episode show, like every single episode needs to be a banger.
Oh,
like
for
we're
sure.
like balls to the wall banger. I mean, it is like action packed. We're huge cliffhangers at the end, like this whole huge thing. And that's what I felt like a lot of the shows, like I'd be watching Falcon Winter Soldier. Most of them have like decent premises. And then I'm watching it and I'm just like, is nothing going to happen? Like, it's just nothing. Like, nothing happens.
Right. And I think really then going back to the Marvel and DC thing, with Marvel's sort of, I'm not going to call it a downfall, but we'll call it the peak and then the fall off. I think the DC excitement with now having James Gunn at the helm, and you're now seeing the resurgence of with the Absolute series that are coming out, which I haven't read any, but
I've read Batman. I've started Batman, Superman, and Wonder Woman.
Yeah, I need to get the Batman, so I need to go through, and we'll get into that. Well, we need to go through your collection here, and we'll get to where we are here in a second. But I think that's really made sort of the kind of excitement for DC happen again.
Yeah.
All right, so let's get back on track because I kind of jumped the gun a little bit there.
Right.
So
I'm always willing to jump into that topic. I'm always right there.
So I'm Nick. I told you a little bit about myself. Brenden, tell me a little bit about you.
What is there to know about me?
Yeah.
Well, I'm married to my wife, Sarah. We've been married for 17 years this year. And we have one daughter who is going to be 11.
Wow, so, preteen.
Yeah, very much so preteen.
Yeah.
Very much so preteen. And we'll probably get into some dad stuff on this podcast.
Oh, for sure.
So I own a bunch of businesses with my wife. She owns a dance studio. I own we all own it. But so we're actually recording in my bookstore, Quest Haven Books and Comics.
Yeah.
That's where we're at. And also do some video production and jobs. Still work full time.
Nice.
So, doing all that.
Yeah. So and it's really interesting how we met. We both kind of met through a good friend of ours. And it was really funny. It was kind of being employed at the same place, but we didn't really
different times
cross. Whoa, wow. We didn't really, got to be more aware of the microphone. Didn't really cross paths, employment wise, which I think made it for the better, right? Because you work with people and you kind of get to know their
personal and work habits.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It can drive you crazy.
Yeah. So we never, but like in my head,
we did.
I feel like I have memories of working with
100%. 100%.
Never happened. Not a single day that we worked in the same office at all.
Oh man.
It's just the energy of the room, perhaps.
Maybe we should get Steve on here sometime.
Maybe. If you're ready to get into some crazy topics.
Oh, dude. The conspiracy theories we could get into.
Yeah. We should have Steve on.
We should.
That'd be a good one. Yeah. So we worked at the same place, but at different times. And here we are.
So back to we kind of jumped a lot of topics here. So I know media consumption. You said you'd been reading, and that's really so. Where Brenden said we're recording Quest Haven, when I said I want to go through his back issues, I'm looking at a wall of some back issues here. I need to see what Absolute he has in there, so I can take it home and hopefully find some time to read between doing my best job at being a parent and a husband.
Yeah, I have a huge stack at home that I have not read.
Nice.
Huge, like so big.
Yeah,
it's like kind of intimidating me at this point.
I used to, so another local comic book store, I used to get like a locker for my comics where you used to be able to go like every week if you had something, you'd be able to pick it up. And I used to just never go until they called me and he's like, hey, you have a stack of 40 books sitting here. Are you gonna pick these up?
Right. That's hilarious. Yeah, the comic stuff, I got really into it when New 52 started.
Yeah.
It was right around when the movies hit, I'd always like I didn't have a comic book store near me growing up, and I like no way to get there under age of 16, so I just didn't get into it until a little later. But man, well, I caught the bug fast. And then New 52 with DC was so good. And I think they did, Marvel was doing something too. I don't remember what it was called. But
yeah, they did something. I also don't remember it, but no, really the New 52 that I got into was the Batman. We were talking about the Court of Owls. Another big one there was Death in the Family. That was pretty good.
Yeah. I remember Flash being good. I remember really liking the Aquaman title.
Yeah.
But this new run of these absolutes are sweet. I really like them. So a little bit of connection between them. So, and kind of connection to the movies. Part of the reason I was super disappointed with Thor: Love and Thunder, not only because it's a ridiculous movie, but because Gore the God Butcher, like they did not do well.
No.
I was so wildly underutilized. But the reason I love him so much is because I don't know if it was the first time he was anything, but so I may not know, don't kill me about the history of Gore the God Butcher, but I'm pretty sure in that same era of New 52, Marvel had a series of Thor that was written by Jason Aaron, and that had Gore the God Butcher. And it was this really crazy story. Like it was like past, present, and future Thor all like intertwined, and Gore the God Butcher's in there. Anyway, it was a super cool story. And then fast forward now, I was reading Absolute Superman, and I was like, man, I freaking love this. Like, this is really good. Written by the same guy.
Nice.
And I was like, oh, well, then that's maybe why I like it, because I really liked that other one before.
Man, that Thor: Love and Thunder movie was terrible. It was so bad.
It was so bad.
So bad. They tried making it too campy.
Yes. That, and I was nervous about that when Ragnarok came out. Ragnarok's the right level.
Yeah.
That one I liked a lot. And then when this one, the moment like the goats thing started, I was like, okay, this is too much. Like,
did you ever watch?
I don't want Thor to be a total idiot.
No,
he can be kind of funny and a little, but like just being an idiot is not how I see Thor.
Did you ever watch Separate Directions? Because I feel like DC tried to also take the funny part of what Marvel was doing and try to adapt to their own. Did you watch the new Flash movie?
I watched about half of it.
Yeah.
And then I think we had to stop it to do something. We had to go somewhere, so we didn't finish. And I never came back to it. The parts with Michael Keaton I saw I liked, but I didn't like Ezra Miller from the beginning.
No.
Even like in Justice League, which is a horrible movie. But I try to break up my movie opinions based on like actors, movie as a whole, like have some,
Yeah.
I didn't like Ezra Miller ever in that role.
Yeah.
But yes, it was, I agree with you. The campiness was too much.
I fell asleep during that movie, so I didn't finish it either.
Nice.
But I feel like the DC, what did they call it? The DCEU?
DCEU.
I felt like that didn't get a fair shake because I think
Agreed.
We had the best Superman.
Yep.
And unpopular opinion, I love Batfleck.
I do too.
I think Ben Affleck as Batman could have been amazing, and he was given the shaft.
My opinion of the DCEU, very similar. I think the casting, 90% of the casting was perfect.
Yep.
I really liked Batfleck. I thought he was a good Bruce Wayne too.
Yeah, he was a great Bruce Wayne.
There's some like, like I thought like the Batman, Robert Pattinson, he was a good Batman, but I didn't really like him as Bruce Wayne.
Yeah, I would agree.
So there's kind of a difference there, but I thought Batfleck was good for both. I liked Jason Momoa as Aquaman, which I don't always like him, so I was good with him.
Yeah.
I did not like Ezra Miller immediately. Part of the reason is because I'm a big fan of the Arrowverse.
Sure.
And
that
Flash was going on at the time, and Grant Gustin is, I think, just a superior Flash.
Yeah, he did a great job.
Did a great job. And then Jesse Eisenberg. as Lex Luthor.
That was bizarre.
I couldn't figure that out.
And
That was
also
crazy.
Superman and Batman bonding because their mothers shared the same name was also like...
That was just bad writing.
That was terrible
That's just
writing.
terrible writing.
Let's jump back to Jason Momoa.
Yeah.
What's your beef with him, man?
I don't have beef. I just don't. I don't want to start any beef with Jason Momoa. Let's.
No.
No. But I don't know. I think he's kind of the same in everything.
Sure.
He's kind of there's like a group of them. Like Ryan Reynolds is kind of the same in everything.
Yeah.
Jason Momoa is the same in everything. Which sometimes works, sometimes doesn't.
Yep.
I think he really worked for Aquaman because he was like, he brought more manliness to it, I guess.
Sure.
Because it could have gone the wrong way.
So I really got into Jason Momoa's series. He did kind of like a docu-series where it was on Max. I have to look it up because I can't remember the name of it. But basically he goes around and explores a lot of the things he's interested in from a creative side, whether it be from motorcycles, classic cars, music, all of that stuff, knife making, which was wild.
Yeah, that's crazy.
But it was on
Not
Max.
surprising with him.
And now, of course, it's going to load, so I got to look. Really professional having your phone in the shot, right?
That's all right. I like Jason Momoa, I think, as a person. I think I just missed him once at Zombie Burger in downtown Des Moines.
Sure.
I remember I was there, and then I left, got on my phone, and he'd posted a picture there 10 minutes after I left.
Oh, cool.
And I was like, I was so close.
On the Roam. The show's called On the Roam. It's
the
on
Roam.
Max. I know it has 6 episodes for sure.
Okay.
But Jason Momoa, really good shit. Speaking of Max and speaking of...
That's a subscription. I had that early on because there was a Kaylee Cuoco show that I watched, the flight attendant.
Yeah.
That was super cool.
I'm really big into Anthony Bourdain and cooking stuff in general.
Sure.
Anthony Bourdain and Maddie Matheson, those are two of my great... I love watching what they do. Maddie's got an ongoing weekly kind of YouTube series. But Anthony Bourdain, Parts Unknown, what a great show. Just him going around, trying all the local food. Gone too soon, RIP, but I mean, great show.
I don't know much about him, to be honest. I know he was a chef.
Yeah, he started out as a chef, and then from there, I think I'm probably going to get this wrong. I know he was hired by CNN, but I can't remember if it was just to be a reporter or if he was brought on to do these food shows.
Right.
But then he ended up committing suicide, which is sad and heartbreaking.
Yeah, for sure. I remember that. I remember that happening, and then it was a big deal.
Yeah, there's a book released that I think his assistant wrote after his passing that is on my list of books to read.
Yeah.
So I've got that one coming up next, I think.
Yeah. Speaking of celebrities passing, the whole Matthew Perry thing is crazy.
Oh, dude. I know we're kind of behind on that, but...
I don't even know if it's all settled yet.
I don't think it is.
But and I don't even know the full story, but it's just crazy.
There was a One Direction I don't know if you're familiar with the boy band One Direction, but...
I'm familiar with, I know who it is.
Good.
Yeah.
When one of those members died, and I think they've arrested people and are getting them on trial. I mean, that is just crazy.
Yeah. Yeah, and just the whole, they conspired to at least steal his money, and then
steal his money and
wrong.
try and drug him, overdose him. Whether or not it was intentional to kill him, who knows?
Yeah,
but
wild. So, all right, we were talking about media.
Yeah.
Is there any other things with media you wanted to discuss?
Oh, dude, my kids have been crazy into Disney.
Yeah.
Like Jackson, my youngest, my 2-year-old, if you sit him in front of a TV that Moana 2 is on, he'll just sit there and stare at the TV.
Did you like Moana 2?
I loved Moana 2.
I love Moana. I really liked Moana 2. The music didn't catch me as
No,
much.
so Moana 2 is actually supposed to be a show.
Oh,
And
okay.
something happened and they made it into a sequel. My biggest beef with Moana 2 is they didn't bring back Lin-Manuel Miranda to do music in it. Because he did music in the first one.
Maybe
and
that's
I thought
the
it was
problem.
great. Yeah. No, Disney. In fact, we just got back from our trip from Disney. Holy cow. I'm a Disney guy now.
You're a Disney
Like,
guy.
it's going to become my personality, I think.
That's a bold claim.
Which is hilarious because my wife trying to talk me into, let's just go to Disney.
Right.
Like, I didn't want to go. I was so back and forth. You know, it's going to be tough with the kids being their age, and I don't know if I want to go. I personally used to have a beef with, I'll say used to because I get it now, a beef with Disney adults. Like, it's just weird. Stay away from
Now
me.
you're just becoming, you're slowly becoming one.
And I'll tell you when it happened. It was, we walked, so we stayed at the Art of Animation, which was a great on-property place to stay.
Sure.
We got off of the car that dropped us off, and I just looked and I said, "Oh shit, Nicole, you're gonna see some not great things, and this is just what's gonna happen."
Here we go
with our trip.
Right.
So I mean, we went everywhere. We left on a Monday, got back last night at midnight. Flying direct from Sanford was the way to go, especially with kids.
Didn't have to,
Especially with young kids, no layovers. It was direct.
Yeah.
Then it was just an hour drive on property. But we did Animal Kingdom, which surprisingly was my favorite park. I think everybody dogs.
I remember liking that when I went in high school. I liked Animal Kingdom.
Was great.
Yeah.
Then we did, I think the one we went to the most was Hollywood Studios.
Sure.
And then we did Magic Kingdom and then Epcot. Epcot I could have done without. Although the Guardians of the Galaxy ride,
pretty cool.
If you ever get a chance to go there, was
that
awesome.
used to be like Tower of Terror.
No, I don't think it used to be anything, but I don't know. I haven't been since high school.
There was
The Tower of Terror is over at Hollywood Studios, so that's still there.
Okay.
Speaking of Hollywood Studios, we went to the Star Wars land.
Sure.
Which that was pretty great. I got my photo taken with Chewbacca.
His beard is better than
he
your beard.
liked my beard though. He actually we compared beard sizes. He obviously won. His fur was not soft. It was actually really kind of itchy.
Ropey.
Yeah. Yeah.
How's Millennium Falcon?
It was awesome. It was huge.
Is it supposed to be full size?
I think so.
Yeah.
There were a lot of the different ships. So you had Kylo Ren's ship there. Millennium Falcon was there. There was an X-Wing there. I built a lightsaber.
Oh yeah, I want to do that.
I'll have to bring that in next episode. That's
sweet.
Pretty cool.
Yeah.
Whole family got to go do that, so that was a lot of fun.
I've never been a want to get a lightsaber guy, but Star Wars Theory on YouTube. He's the big Star Wars guy. He's like the biggest Star Wars YouTuber there is.
Okay.
He's got like 3.5 million subscribers or whatever. But he has Theory sabers. He has his own saber company, and they're like sweet. And I really want one. It's on my list.
It's really wild. So you have to have a time slot. Like you can't walk in.
Right. You have to book
And it was one of those things where I was kind of back and forth. Like we were going to Disney. I was back and forth. Do I want to do one? Do I don't want to do one? It's expensive to get one, but at the end of the day, you can get more money. You can't get back time or memories. Okay. So we got there, and I'm like, well, I know we didn't book it, but now I kind of want to. And Nicole's like, all right, well, she opened it up, and she's like, there's one spot available. Do you want it? And I'm like, yes.
Yeah.
So we booked it. You walk into this kind of outdoor plaza. You get handed a card, which has a list of, I think it's 4 to 5 different styles of lightsaber you want. I'm a big Sith guy. Love the dark side. Huge
Not surprising.
fan.
Not surprising.
Darth Vader's my guy.
You've always seemed very evil to me. I'm just kidding.
I'm so glad Hayden Christensen finally got the respect he deserved.
Dude, for real.
Because the writing in the prequels was atrocious.
Yeah.
And it's no fault of his.
That's been the one to me, which we haven't even gotten into Star Wars Disney. That's been the one like shining spot to me in the Star Wars stuff right now, is that Hayden Christensen is finally getting like his moment, you know?
Yeah.
For sure.
So you got to do that. You got to pick which style, and then you got to pick which crystal you wanted to throw in your lightsaber. They had green, blue, purple, because Samuel L. Jackson.
Sure. Thank you, Samuel L. Jackson.
Red. I think those were it. Was there a yellow one? It may have been yellow. I can't remember. But I chose red.
Yeah.
And my wife brought up a good point with like the Star Wars, and there was one other thing she said, Marvel. Yeah, Star Wars and Marvel. She's like, to me, it just doesn't seem Disney. And I said, well, I can understand from Star Wars. Mm-hmm. However, when you walk into the, we'll call it Star Wars land, because I can't think of what it's called.
Sure.
But you walk in there.
Star Wars Galaxies.
Galaxies. Thank you. They talk about like the old movie, like they make reference to Luke Skywalker, to Obi-Wan Kenobi, but really the main focus is the newer characters.
Right.
Those are the ones that walk around.
Yeah.
And you can argue with me, well, Chewbacca's an older character and R2's an older character. Yeah, but they're still in the new movie, so shut up.
Yeah. How do you feel about the new movies?
Terrible.
Yeah.
Didn't like them.
Yeah.
Was it nostalgic to see the older characters in it? Yes.
So I would say, if I remember back to it, when Force Awakens was coming out, that was hype.
Oh, huge.
I mean, it was crazy. Yeah. And I actually liked that one.
I did too.
It's definitely a retread. The only thing I don't like is that Luke doesn't really show up. I feel like he could have showed up earlier. But all in all, there's some other issues.
I think it was perfect the way he showed up.
Yeah.
I think that set the excitement for the next installment to be like, okay, this is going to be awesome because Luke Skywalker is back.
And then that happened.
And then Rey Star Wars.
Yeah.
No. Rey Skywalker.
Actually, full admission, when The Last Jedi came out, I went in the theater, saw it, came out, loved it.
Yeah. Really
loved it.
Yeah.
And it was only after like thinking about it, trying to line it up. Like the longer it went on and the more times I watched it, I was like, this just doesn't seem to work. And then when you added the last one in there, it was just like, okay, none of this works.
Right.
This is all like, and basically what I said, I remember telling my brothers, like, this movie's how it will be remembered is definitely going to be decided by the last movie.
Oh, yeah.
And it's just a mess.
And honestly, I think it's worse than the prequels were, frankly.
Yeah. The prequels, while some of the writing is kind of atrocious and the special effects haven't aged great, it's still a full, complete story that logically makes sense.
Right.
Like,
this one did.
Point A to point B to point C, it all works.
Yeah.
The sequels, like, don't make sense at all.
Right.
Just at all.
No. The shows are great, though. Mandalorian is...
The last movie lost me right in the beginning when the whole thing happens, and then Poe Dameron's like, somehow Palpatine has returned.
Yep.
The moment he said that, I was like, what?
How?
That is the dumbest, like, how does that writing even make it?
Yeah.
That doesn't even pass a sniff test.
Yeah.
But...
No, Mandalorian was a good show. Saw him, did not get to interact with him.
Didn't get to interact?
No.
You didn't ruffle up
Those
any
were...
stormtroopers, did you?
I didn't see any. I didn't get to see any, which kind of, like, I don't want to say it made me upset, but I was a little bit disappointed. Mm-hmm. But that is what it is.
Yeah.
My kids really loved the Toy Story Land in Hollywood Studios. That was a popular one. And then the Mickey's, it's like this Mickey Mouse train ride thing. Mm-hmm. That was fun too.
And how old are your kids again?
2 and 4.
2 and 4. So it's like prime time. That's
yeah.
perfect for them.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. So the last night we were there, we were going to go on Ratatouille. We had gotten fast passes for like, I think it was 8 o'clock, 8:15. Ride breaks down. Super bummed out.
Yeah.
The gal's like, oh, don't worry, you can come back and ride the next day. Well, we're kind of leaving, but we'll see if we want to go into the park, whatever, waste some time.
Yeah.
Because, I mean, our flight didn't leave until 9 p.m., so it's not like, we
You had time to.
Yeah, we had time to go. So we went. Wasn't that great? The Ratatouille ride was just kind of a bummer.
Yeah.
Jackson I have not heard this boy scream out of terror before. Holy cow.
Yeah.
This little kid freaked out. And then the highlight of leaving for me was we got to go to the biggest McDonald's in the world.
Okay.
I'm a sucker for McDonald's.
Sure.
I love McDonald's. Shout out McDonald's.
Gotta love McDonald's.
The largest McDonald's in the world. You can get the normal stuff, but then they also have like additional menu items. So
Okay.
they had a full pizza kitchen in this McDonald's, brick
Nice.
oven, everything.
In a McDonald's?
In a McDonald's.
Wow.
So I got a pizza, and then they also had Philly cheesesteaks. Now, it wasn't really a Philly cheesesteak because it had lettuce, tomato, American cheese on it, whatever. If you're a Philly snob, it's not one you can say, oh, it's really
Right.
a Philly. Okay. I ate an unhealthy amount of McDonald's food because I felt like I had to try everything that I couldn't get here local.
Right.
It was gross. I apologized to my wife ahead of time. I said, you're about to see something really gross.
But special.
This is like a once in a lifetime thing that's going to happen. And then I didn't tell you this before we started, but we were cruising through Sanford and we found this store. It sold guns and comics.
Odd pairing, but okay.
The name of the store was Guns dash the letter N dash comics.
Guns and comics.
Yep. So like
That's the
on
store.
one side of the window was guns, like whatever you could get. They had like machine guns, handguns, whatever. And the other side was like a comic book. So you would have like they had like cutouts of superheroes.
Yeah.
I wish it would have been open so I could have gone in, but it wasn't. I was so bummed.
That's what a wild, like,
I just wanted to see it.
take your two hobbies and put them together, I guess.
I doubt they would have let me take pictures,
Yeah.
but I'm going to make it a goal the next time we go down because we're going to go to Disney again. I mean, come on.
Of course.
I'm going into that store.
Yeah.
It's going to happen.
Yeah. We've been waiting on the Disney trip a little bit because we thought we'd just wait till maybe Sophia was a little older to just be able to really like remember it, I guess.
Yeah.
I definitely, which I know this is Disney, but I think it's close around there. I want to go to Harry Potter World. And
Universal.
Universal. Like I'm in for the whole experience there.
I want to go to the Grinch. I know. I don't know if the Grinch is just a Christmas time only thing.
Right.
But I've seen TikTok videos of like people's interactions with him when he's there. It's like, that's what I need.
Where do you stand on the Grinch movie?
Loved it. Jim Carrey.
I love it.
Oh, so
I
good.
didn't realize it was.
One of my favorite Christmas movies.
I love it. It's one of my favorite movies of all time.
Yeah, it's a good one.
I didn't realize it was like.
Polarizing?
I didn't realize that.
Yeah.
I've always loved it.
No, it was great.
Yeah.
The
It's
flight
classic.
home. Oh my God, I got to tell you.
Tell me
about
the flight.
The flight home was something. So I hate flying. I have a fear of flying. If I'm on an airplane, I'm likely going to have a drink or two or three.
And you're sitting in the aisle. You don't want to be out the window or nothing.
It doesn't matter. Doesn't matter.
You're out.
Aisle, middle seat, window, whatever. The way we sat, it was a 3 and 3. So Nicole and the kids were on one side, and I was on the aisle on the other side. Behind me was a full row, and obviously in front of me was a full row. About half an hour into the flight, the person behind me starts to violently throw up, and I mean violently. The smell, the sounds, it was so bad. It was so bad.
What was it, like a Southwest flight or something? Too, where it's like-
Allegiant. Yep. So I immediately look at my wife and I said, I need to try. Like this is gonna be bad. She's like,
Right.
it's okay. order a drink. They're coming around with it right
Like,
now.
I need more alcohol right now.
So I got a double Tito's and Sprite, and I've never drank anything so fast in my life. Threw my headphones in. I think I watched a comedy special and just tried to not focus on the moans. I felt so bad because no one wants to be there.
No, yeah.
So we
That's
got
not
settled.
fun for anybody.
He's doing okay. And then another smell hits me. And Nicole says, "Did Jackson poop his pants?" I'm like, "I don't think so." All of a sudden, more flight attendants come flying towards us. The person in front of me violently got sick.
Wow.
We have an hour and a half left of this flight, and I want to get off the plane. I want to get off the plane.
That's rough.
Oh, dude.
Man, but person behind you and in front of you. That is rough.
Yeah. Oh, so bad. But no, good Disney trip. I'll probably be going back hopefully once a year, maybe.
Nice.
And then probably after the kids are phased out, we will still go to Disney.
Go. Well, you became a Disney adult.
I became a Disney adult.
Yeah. Well, we flew last year.
I don't know if anyone heard that, but there was like wind or something, or water.
We'll talk about
water.
There's a water pipe there.
Ooh,
Yeah.
okay. Scared the shit out of me.
So we went to Roatan last year.
Right. Yeah.
And we flew down to Dallas and then flew there. It was 2 hours to Dallas, not even.
Yeah.
And then it was like 3 hours to Roatan. And I hadn't flown since I was a kid, probably like 8 or 9. We flew to Texas to see a friend of my parents or whatever. But so I hadn't flown at all. And so I was kind of nervous about it. Like, I was like, I don't know. I mean, it's like my wife was like, "How are you going to do?" And I'm like, "We're going to find out how I do." Did totally fine. No problem. We flew Southwest. Them planes be tiny.
Yeah.
And I mean, you're just packed in there. Thankfully, it's the 3 of us, and we, Sarah sat on one side, I sat on the other, and Sophia sat in the middle. So it just kind of, we just could all snuggle in together, worked out. We didn't have anything like that. We did have on the return home. So have you ever been to the Dallas airport?
Yes.
It's very like you get on the tram and it's got to take you to all the different terminals and stuff. Very big. And they just kept, it was late at night. Like, I think we got back. I mean, I don't even know what time it was, 10, 11. And they kept like changing where our plane was going to be and time. But it was like not where we had to keep getting on the tram thing and like going to the next building. So we ran around for like an hour, just keep getting shifted around.
Jeez.
And it was craziness. So, but we didn't have any like
no vomit experience,
vomiting or explosive anything else at all.
Yeah, not good, especially with someone who hates flying. Definitely not great.
But apparently it's not going to stop you. So you want to go back. So.
Oh, no. I mean, I'll suck it up for a 2-hour flight.
Yeah,
Doesn't
for
bother
sure.
me. 2 hours and 40 minutes, technically, if you want to get super technical about it. Just tell me what that noise was that I just heard.
Well, so there's apartments above us.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, man.
There's 3. So that's the toilet.
Is that the toilet?
That's the toilet. Yeah. It's unfortunate.
Can they hear us?
I don't know. Maybe. Probably not.
Okay.
I can hear sometimes if they're like running a loud vacuum.
Oh, sure.
But we have game nights here. No one seems to care.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah. So keeping the kids entertained on the trip.
Oh, dude. So
go?
we bought a couple of these Amazon Fire tablets, like for kids, where you can control stuff. Which, by the way, we didn't have when we were kids.
Right.
When I was on a plane, I was either reading a book, I was playing with toys, or I was asleep.
Yeah.
Like, there's this new TikTok trend, which is a whole nother story. But there's a TikTok trend of people, they're just calling, like, I don't know, they don't do anything on the flights.
Oh,
You know what I'm talking about?
Called? Yeah, I've seen that. where they raw dog the
flights.
it. Yeah.
Raw dog the flights,
just
like
have to
how I
sit
do with
there
my
and, like,
depression. Raw dog
stare.
it. Right.
Yeah.
You stare in front. I mean, that's what I did when I was on a plane. You didn't do anything. Maybe you had a Game Boy. I think Game Boys came out in 1996.
95.
I don't know. I remember buying Pokemon Red. That's like the first thing that I got.
That'd be
that
97.
and Super Mario.
Yeah.
Not like the
I remember getting
Land, Super Mario Land. That was
Mario
not
Land.
a good. I didn't
remember
enjoy
getting a Game Boy. I think I might have had a color. I never had a Game Boy. I think the first one was a color.
I had them all. I was fortunate enough to be a privileged individual, only child. Parents made good money. I didn't want for any. So I had literally every iteration of the Game Boy, from the big brick one, and I think I stopped when it was like the SP that folded out like kind of laptop first. Yeah.
We had. So I think I didn't. How did we play it then? Because I had blue version. Oh, we had one. So we had a Super Nintendo and it had one of those like cartridge that you could put the cartridge in.
Oh,
so we played it on the TV,
Yeah.
and then I ended up getting a color, Game Boy Color. But I remember like, I mean, if I wanted to play that thing in the car, you have to like hold it in the window just right. And like catch the light correctly.
Because your parents wouldn't let you turn the light on because they would say you'd get in trouble and you'd get arrested.
Which
is not true.
Not true at all.
Woo, not true.
Yeah.
Bunch of lies that our parents told us.
My wife and I were talking about the last time. So we just got through like the dance competition season. We do dance and all that kind of stuff.
Sure.
And so we're driving over to Omaha and stuff, and 2-3 hour trips or whatever. And Sophia can't, I mean, if she doesn't have something to entertain herself, she's, first time I told her to look out the window, like you'd have thought that I had said something highly offensive to her.
Man.
I was like, just look out the window, like, see what's going on. Nope, can't do that. But we were talking about how, kids nowadays have these, like, they have infinite amount of, they have the world's entertainment at their disposal in a car ride.
Right.
Whereas, like, at best, I could pack, like, my small CD case and I could maybe, like, for my CD player.
Oh, yeah.
And, like, that's what he had. But I didn't have, like, you didn't have movies or TV or nothing in the car.
I can remember, I think maybe it was, my parents drove us somewhere, and we had this small TV that had the VHS attached to it, right? And my dad had a black Astrovan, and it would sit perfectly in the center, and we could throw in VHS tapes for me to watch.
Yeah.
Because you could plug it in. But no, we didn't have anything. But we were of the generation where all of this stuff, like, it was happening as we were growing up. Like, the iPhone came out when we were growing up. Smartphones happened.
iPhone came out the year that I graduated high school.
Yeah. How old are you?
2007. I'm 35.
Okay. I'm 34.
I graduated in 07.
34? You're 35?
I'm 35. I'll be 36 this year.
That tracks.
Am I older than you?
Yes, I graduated in 09.
Interesting.
Yep.
I didn't know that.
You are.
Well, I do have more grays. So
mine just started growing because
mine just came in this year.
Did they really?
Yeah.
Wow.
This like last like year or so.
But no, that stuff. I mean, I guess computers were kind of a thing, but I remember doing floppy disks in computer class at good old St. Teresa's Catholic School.
I used to. So I remember my dad showing me how to boot up. You remember the old X-Wing TIE Fighter games? They played like a joystick and stuff.
Yep.
I remember learning how to boot those up in DOS.
Yeah.
And with the little CD, my buddy and I used to make our own like Pokemon cards in Paint, on Microsoft Paint, and we would save them onto floppy disks, and like that's how we'd transfer them between each other's houses.
I used to hand draw my own Pokemon cards.
Yeah. So we started hand drawing, and then we started making them in Paint.
Okay.
It was not more sophisticated.
No.
It was actually harder.
Right.
But, we were just fascinated by, like, being able to make something on my computer, put it on a floppy, and take it to my friend's house felt magical.
Dude.
Like, it was crazy.
The computer games at the time, like, Specifically, I played Math Blaster, Reading Blaster, Freddy. Did you ever play like Freddy Fish, Pajama Sam, Putt Putt?
I remember those.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, I was big into those computer games. Lego Island and Lego Island 2, two classic games. And then I was a big PlayStation guy too.
Yeah.
But I mean, do I feel bad that my 4-year-old and 2-year-old have tablets? Sure.
Yeah.
Do I think it's going to make them less productive?
Yeah.
No, I don't. I'm not afraid of too much screen time. Now, obviously, I can look at them and tell, okay, you need a break.
Yeah.
Like, we don't watch YouTube in the house.
Yeah.
Because that shit is... Oh, if you've seen some of the stuff that they advertise for kids...
Yeah.
It's
so that's
not good.
It depends on what it is. So Sophia doesn't have YouTube or anything on any of her stuff.
Yeah.
But if she watches YouTube, she can watch it on our TV at home so that I can kind of monitor it while I'm there. Because she has some stuff she likes to watch that are fine. But yeah, I tried to get her like YouTube Kids.
Yeah, it's not any better.
Took it right off. I was like, nope, this craziness. Like, I couldn't even believe like some of the stuff on there.
What I've noticed since YouTube's been, and I shouldn't say, like I said, I shouldn't say all YouTube, like you said. I mean, my boys like Dragon Tales. I don't know if you remember that from PBS when we were growing up. They love it. They love Dragon Tales. You can only find it on YouTube.
Right.
But just night and day difference on how they behave.
Yeah.
How they act. It's insane.
Yeah.
But no, the tablets, I mean, it's fine. Will I throw a phone in front of my kid if we're at a restaurant to get them to calm down and behave?
Yeah.
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 Judge me all you want. I don't care. Are you enjoying your meal and not having to listen to my toddler yell? And is my toddler still eating, still functioning, still responding to me, but also has Moana 2 in front of him? Yeah.
Well, and I think the thing that I struggle with is like, it's not going away.
No.
And so we have to figure out how to like help them navigate the world with it.
Exactly.
Because it's not like same like AI and stuff. Like if we think AI is crazy now, like when our kids are in high school, it's gonna be taking over the world. I mean, it's like so it's no different than like all of a sudden we have iPhones and like now we have to figure out how to live with that now.
Right.
You can't put the genie back in the bottle.
No.
So I don't generally care too much about screen time. I can tell when she's like, I try to make her get off of it from time to time.
Yeah.
Part of it for us right now, you guys, I don't think are probably there with them being as young as they are. We are running around so much because of the things both Sarah and I do, but also that she has her own activities and dance and stuff.
Yeah.
So like, we're not even home enough to like, for her to be binging TV anyways. Right. So the few times, I'll pick her up from dance, we'll go home, and then she'll watch some TV, like a normal person.
Right.
But she's grown up with all that stuff, and she seems like I've not seen any sort of. The only detriment maybe that I've seen is that she doesn't know a lot of other ways to entertain herself, and we've had to work through that.
Yeah.
Getting outside. Like, so today was a really nice day here. And so she was like outside. She was jumping on the trampoline, like, kind of made her do that. But other than that, like, I've not seen a lot of detrimental.
Yeah. As long as it doesn't kill my kid's imagination, and as long as they still want to play with toys, cool. I mean, I can have golf on the TV or even anything they want to watch on the TV, and they'll still play. But then every once in a while, you'll catch them just looking at it, sitting there.
Yeah.
Probably for 5-10 minutes, and they'll go back to playing or doing whatever. So, I mean, it's not like they're staring at it constantly. Now, I agree, getting outside, fortunately, I've got 2 kids that love being outside, love running around. So I don't have an issue with it. And yeah, we're not as busy. We're not taking them anywhere yet.
Yeah.
I'm sure that day will come, but
Yeah. The harder thing is now when you get into like having friends. That's tough.
oh yeah,
And it's not even that the friends are doing any, like they're not, doing anything bad necessarily, but they might have access to, like, Sophie has some friends that can have access to their own social media. Well,
sure,
we don't have Sophia with social media.
right.
So she's, does the, well, my friend has social media. I'm like, well, yeah, but you don't. And that's how
Are you waiting until a certain age for her to be able to have that?
I don't know. At the moment, I'm just kind of a no on it.
Yeah.
I don't know if I have any criteria on like when she can have it. Because the problem is, the problem isn't so much them staring at screens all the time. To me, the problem is more the content and the things they're finding.
Yeah, it's bad out there.
It's very bad. And so when we get into like her age group, I mean, her and her whole age group, it's not hard for them to fight about anything.
Right.
So when you add social media and comparison and all of those things, it's just this added.
Well, in
craziness.
Online bullying too, especially with girls. I mean, I'm fortunate I have 2 boys, but I'm sure that'll bring its own host of stuff that I can't wait for. But it just seems like girls are so much more vicious now.
Well, in the
Specifically online too.
yes. Well, in the social media and the technology and stuff really takes away, like, it's like texting or emailing. Like if I text you something, you can't necessarily read all my emotion in that.
No,
or
people
what
do anyway.
But people do. So I remember there's a few summers ago, and Sophia had Facebook Messenger. So she was able to have a Messenger account without me or without having her own Facebook. So she could message her friends on her iPad during the summer or whatever. And I remember them, like, all of a sudden they're all just mad at each other. And I couldn't figure it out. And then finally I just determined, like, they're just misunderstanding each other.
Right.
One person says one thing, the other person says another thing, and they're not old enough to, like, decipher it.
Right.
Like if you send me a text and maybe it sounds something to me like it's maybe not intended, I can probably decipher, like, well, he probably didn't mean it that way.
Right.
Well, kids can't do that.
No.
So that to me is the bigger concern with the technology.
Does Sophia have a phone?
So she does have a phone.
Okay.
She did get one earlier than a lot of her friends.
Okay.
But part of the reason for us was, so I have it completely locked down. So she can only communicate with the people that I've programmed into her phone.
Okay.
She can't program anyone into it without me doing it. She can't download apps whenever she wants. Like it's very locked down. She does not have free reign to the internet, all that kind of stuff. We got her a phone though, because with everything that we're doing, she started going to school. Yeah. She's an only child. I was like, I just want to make sure that I have a way to communicate with you. So she's had that for about a year now. So she got it like 10.
In a perfect world, what age would you have? I mean, is 10, like, was that the age you guys had talked about, or did you want to give it to her later?
I would have maybe waited till later. But we just needed the function for it. Yeah. I just think, I don't know. They say like your frontal lobe, like for guys, is not fully formed until you're like 28 or something crazy. I don't know what the actual thing is, but it's the same for all of them. So like they just can't, like, you just hear so many stories of all these like high school girls, junior high girls that are like, their mental health is horrible. Yeah. Because they just can't handle all of the comparison and texting and like they just, it's just too much.
Yeah.
So I don't really know what the answer is, and I don't know how I would never presume to tell anyone else what to do. I think you would definitely like just base it off of who your child is, where they seem to be with it, and definitely keep it locked down because they can immediately get into stuff that's.
I'd always thought, and Nicole and I talked about, like, when they can drive, like probably around the age of 14 when they get their learner's permit, let's talk about it then. But man, yeah, I'm just paranoid just with all we have access to literally everything we could ever want on this.
Yeah.
Which is great, but also terrifying.
Well, and that's so back to what we were talking about with like our age group. We can handle it, I think, better. I feel like we were in a great age group because I remember what it's like not having any of this stuff.
Right.
And also it happened to us when we were still able to learn it at a quick pace. So like new technology does not freak me out.
No.
AI, all that stuff. Like I'm willing to learn it. I can learn it. I can learn it pretty quick. But I also remember, like, I know what it's like to not have a phone, and I put it down and I can take a break or whatever. So I just feel like we had a really great, but like they're living in a world that they have no idea what
clue.
They'll never experience it without it, you know?
And that's scary. And it's only going to get, like you said, it's only going to get better or worse or however you want to look at it, right? Yeah. You're going to have access just to more and more and more, and it's going to be easier to get access to it.
Yeah.
So, I mean, then at that point, is it worth, I don't know. Should you be as concerned about it? Should you not be? Should you?
The thing I'm most concerned about is keeping her away from bad actors and things that are not age appropriate.
Oh yeah,
that's my hardest thing to figure out how to protect her from. Anything else, it's like, you know, I see it a lot of similar to, you know, when someone's around your kids that maybe they don't know you or whatever, and they say a cuss word, and then they, oh, I'm so sorry, your kid's here, and I'm like, what, you know, she's gonna hear cuss words out in the world. Like I'm not gonna, like, not everyone on the planet has to police themselves around her because she's going to hear bad words, you know? Similar thing of like, you're going to experience this stuff. So how can you experience it? And I teach you how to handle it, you know? So.
Yeah. How can you control it to the best of your ability?
Yeah. Well, there you go.
Yeah.
Should we wrap it up?
Episode 1.
How do you feel?
Good, man. I'm excited.
Yeah.
I'm really excited to see where this is going to take off.
Yeah.
So I think it'll be good. I think it'll be fun.
We will eventually talk about beards.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, for sure.
But it's not a podcast about beards.
No.
It's just two talking beards.
I can tell you that I have tried so many different beard products that if we wanted to have a segment of what beard product has Nick tried today. I actually got a new shipment of stuff in while I was gone from a company called Live Bearded.
Okay.
It's their barbershop scent. I haven't opened it yet.
Okay.
And it's going to be a while until I do, but I'm excited.
Talking bearded, Live Bearded. It, you know.
Those guys are great. I love those guys.
Really well.
No, they're pretty cool.
Yeah.
So yeah, cool.
Well,
thanks.
Well, hey, thanks. And like, comment, share, subscribe, all that fun stuff.
Yeah, we're on all the socials, Twitter, TikTok, Instagram. We might not be on Facebook. I can't remember if I did Facebook. YouTube's, anywhere you really want to find podcasts, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, wherever.
Check it out.
Thanks.